Do you know the difference between God and a champion? Well, God has never thought he was a champion. So let me bring you back at the time I thought I was God. At the time I was saying that I would win the games, the Olympics, under pressure in my home country. I knew it was not done, but I also knew that I had to find that thing that will help me to realize that dream. To find that thing that is at the origin of any performance. To find that thing that is, to me today, a combination of 3 ingredients. The first one is passion. At the beginning, I was not very passionate about mogul skiing. Such a crazy sport. I remember the first time I was at the top of the course. First time, 12 years old. 300 meters long. 28 degrees of declivity. 150 meters wide. Full of moguls. 1,000 moguls. I had 1,000 problems. And I turned to my coach and I say, "Hey, boss, who's the stupid guy who has invented that crazy sport?" And he told me, "Well, it's not so stupid. Just put your 2 arms in front of you, you let go, and the bumps will disappear." And he left. And he did that. That was amazing to see. Him skiing like his balance was just perfect. His shoulders were facing the moguls. The bumps, the knees were absorbing the bumps. It was magical to see. It was like when he was skiing, if the slope was flat. So I took my courage. I put my 2 arms in front of me, and I let go. 5 turns. After 5 turns, I crashed. I lost the balance. Then I stood up again, I start again, 3 turns. Lost the control. Well, it's been 8 minutes of humiliation. 8 long minutes compared to the coach who did the run in 35 seconds. 8 long minutes. And when I got down to the bottom of the course, I had lost my balance, my control, and my dignity. I thought to the coach, "I'm sorry, boss, but I don't have the technique. I don't think that I am made for that kind of sport." And he answers, "Well, Edgar, as long as you think like a loser, you will end up a loser. Hey, come on. Tell me something that will encourage me, something concrete. Why do you say that?" Because I saw you facing those 1,000 moguls with your 1,000 problems. So what's the difference with the champion? And he told me, "You have to think like a champion. That's the difference. It's not a matter of technique. It's a matter of thinking." And I asked, "Okay, how does a champion think?" Because I thought that champion have legs, no brain. You know? And he told me, "All right, most of the people sees the problem. Champion sees the opportunity." And it turns my life around. From that day on, I disciplined myself to cultivate the idea that I was able to transform things, to transform an obstacle, a problem, into an opportunity, a solution, to focus my energy on something that I control rather than something that I don't control. Focus on my strength rather than my weaknesses. Focus on what I have for me rather than what I don't have. And that really turns my life around. It's passion. I was not passionate about mogul skiing because of mogul skiing, because of skiing, because I was turning around bumps. I was passionate about mogul skiing because the way I learned to look at the obstacle was exciting. It's not the obstacle that is the problem. It's the way you deal with it. The way you look at things will determine the experience. So if at the very beginning I would have believed that I was not able to become Olympic champion, guess what? I should not complain. You know? So the passion was for skiing for sure, but it was more for what skiing, what that kind of sport helped me to be, or to become. That was the first ingredient of this performance. The second one was about love, to love what you do, what I have done. That was very important. And you know, at the age of 18, I became for the first time world champion. I was just great, just fantastic. 18 is very young. And I remember the TV news, they show a report on my success, on this victory. And so when I saw the report, I started to call my friends and my family to tell them, watch the TV, look at the report. At the end of the report, it was just embarrassing. Something was a little bit embarrassing. I was lying in the armchair and the journalist asked me his last question. He told me, Edgar, you're 19, world champion. Now, what does life mean to you? And my answer was ski, sex, and rock and roll. That was embarrassing. That was my coach. Because the next day, we went back at trainings. And my coach asked me, Edgar, now I want you to tell me, how will you bring your sport to the next level? How will you raise the bar? I told him, you didn't watch the news last night, I guess, to ask me that. I want to have now the fun part of it, you know. I want to have the return on investment I have made. I want now that life must be easy. I want to have the life of Riley, to enjoy. I don't want to suffer. And he told me, all right, no problem, Edgar. So tell me what you love the most. I say, party. No. What do you love the most when you ski? Oh, when I ski. Well, I love when I go fast, as quick as I can. But I make so many mistakes that we'd better work on those mistakes. And the coach told me, okay, go up. Ski one run as fast as you can. And when I came back, he told me that I was skiing the slope in 32 seconds. All right. And he told me, Edgar, now I want you to ski the slope in 30 seconds. And I said, what about my mistakes? He said, don't worry about the mistakes. If you succeed, if you ski the run in less than 30 seconds, it will be so spectacular that we won't be able to see the mistakes anymore. That was fun. That was exciting. I took it as a challenge. Skiing as fast as possible, even faster. I took it as a challenge because the more I was working on my strength, the more my job was exciting, was fun, was enjoyable, was a challenge. Compared to the more I was working on my weaknesses, the more my job became boring and exhausting. To love what you do is probably the second ingredient of any performances. But let me talk to you about creativity. When I was in the gates of the Olympic Games, it remains only 65 turns to make a difference. I had only 30 seconds to make a difference. But it took me 10 years to be able to reach that level. It took me 1,300,000 turns to be able to be in the gates of the Olympics. So where do you think we make the difference? As I was not the most talented skier, the one who has the more means, the more luck than everyone, I really had to compensate. Is the winner, is the guy who make more turns than the others? It's not what I could observe. Because I really looked after my opponents. I really looked at them. I really watched in details what they were doing, when they were questioning themselves in order to progress, to improve in their job. And some of them improve every 500 turns. Some of them better every 100 turns. And as I'm not more gifted than them, I really have to question myself more than they do. I really have to face my doubts more than they do. I really have to create solutions, find ideas to improve, to get better and better, turns after turns, obstacles after obstacles, difficulty after difficulty, to become better and better. So I discipline myself to progress every 65 turns. And that makes the difference. That makes the success. And success paves the road for those who search, not for those who have excuses. When you have excuses, it's not fun. You don't find people on your way that help you to find the purpose of your life, to help you to find what you love the most, or to create or to question themselves for yourself. But when you search, when you seek for solutions, there you meet people who will help you to gather the conditions for you to find this fantastic energy, this God within, this divine energy that is a combination of passion, talent, and creativity. An energy that I call motivation. And what is fantastic about motivation? It's that it's not a gift, but it's an energy that we all can create, develop, cultivate, and transmit. In order to reveal the champion we have in ourselves, in order to make a dream come true. And I want to end my presentation by a French quote that I hate. I really don't like it, this one. It says in French, quand je dis ça, je dis rien, mais ça va mieux en le disant. When I say that, I say nothing, but it's better saying it. I don't like this one because it says that what I've just said to you is absolutely useless unless you will do something with it. Thank you very much.